This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros, word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my podcast, Esme's Country Life. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about how my horse Casper has a new girlfriend that we've been out with. I'm also going to be talking about how we now have a new animal, a new family member. And also I'm going to be talking about how I was on a game kind of TV show, which was very, very cool, but also very, very stressful. But anyway, before we begin, I just want to say a huge thank you to the sponsor of the podcast, Red Post. Red Post is an equestrian country store based in the UK, but they also ship all over the world. And at the moment, they have some incredible sales coming on, especially running up to Christmas. So this weekend, when this podcast goes live, so Friday or Saturday the 15th, they actually have a huge discount on insulated wellies, up to 44% on selected lines, which is incredible because if you don't have a pair of insulated wellies, especially coming up to winter, what are you doing? You need to keep your feet nice and toasty. And do you know who else you need to keep nice and toasty? Your horses, because they also have up to 40% off certain rugs on selected lines. So if you want to get those sweet, sweet discounts, go and check it out at redpostequestrian.co.uk. Anyway, let's get into today's episode. Now, I am going to address the elephant in the room, and that is, I know that everybody, as soon as they heard me say that at the beginning of this podcast episode, Esme, you have a new pet, you have a new family member, what is going on? Tell us all, we want to know now. Now, I hate to be that person, but we are going to give them some time to settle in, get used to life, because any big change, especially when you've moved from one place to another, it takes a while to adjust. So we're just letting them settle in at the moment, but do not worry, it won't be long until I can talk about them and introduce them, and I'm going to be filming lots and lots of videos with them very, very soon. So you probably only have about a week to wait, which isn't too bad. It isn't too bad. But anyway, yes, so that's what I've been keeping. My hands have been very full with that, with an added animal, because with any added animal there's added costs, responsibilities, time, effort, but now just seemed like the perfect time to add a new member to the team, and I've absolutely loved having them around, absolutely fallen in love with them. It is just the one, but I am saying them, so you don't know if it's a boy or a girl. But anyway, let's move swiftly on to somebody new that we have met, and that is my horse Casper. He has a new girlfriend. So the other day, I was chatting with my friend, and I was saying to her, like, because we're both horsey, but we didn't actually become friends through horses. I feel like that's really common, that most people that are horsey make horsey friends through horses, but we just ended up being friends and just had horses in common, which is wild. But anyway, we have known each other like 5+ years, and we have never ever gone for a ride together. Actually, that's a lie. She has gone for a ride with me at my house, where she's gone on Casper, I've gone on Joey, but I've never actually gone for a ride with her and her horse. Now, her yard is situated in the most stunning part of the countryside. She's very, very lucky. So anyway, we finally arranged a date to go and meet up, and I was umming which horse I take, if I take Casper or if I take Joey. Now, I actually, on the day before this, had a dressage lesson with Joey where I'm not gonna lie, my dressage instructor, she works us hard. The next day, Joey basically just sleeps the whole day because he's so tired, bless him. So I thought it would be quite mean to take him on a huge ride up on the hills just after he had a really hard day the day before. So I thought, you know what, I'll take the old man out, I'll take Casper out. So Casper is now almost 20, which is wild. I actually cannot believe that because I've had him since he was 7. So where has the time gone? What is happening? Anyway, so we went for a hike together. So she was on her horse, who is called Stella. Stella is 17. She is a thoroughbred cross. She is gorgeous. She's so pretty. I think she's got some Appaloosa in her as well, because she kind of has like the Appaloosa bum kind of spotty kind of bit, if you know what I mean. So anyway, when I met up with her, Casper was, very, very chill to start with. Actually, when we first arrived, to be fair, Casper does this whenever we go somewhere new. He will stand at the top of the horse box and he likes to investigate the area that he's in before he walks off the ramp, which I would say is actually a very clever thing to do. You know, you want to know where you are, you want to sniff out or look out for any predators, see if there's anything scary about. But anyway, as soon as he walked down, he was like having a good old look everywhere, but in like a calm kind of way, because obviously he's an old man now. He's been there, done it. Anyway, tacked him up, and then he went and met his, well, I'm going to say new girlfriend now, because they got along very well. So Stella, she is actually bigger than Casper, which is quite funny. Well, that's not that difficult, because Casper is like 14'3", 15 hands. I'd say he's 14'3" with no shoes, 15 hands with shoes, so I just say normally 15 hands. He's an overgrown Connie, or Connemara pony. But anyway, met up. Now, when we first started walking down her yard driveway, oh my goodness, Casper was jig jogging everywhere. I don't know if everybody calls it jig jogging, but basically it's when a horse is walking, or they're kind of walking at a walk pace, but actually they're basically trotting, so it's almost like they're jogging on the spot. It's like a really weird thing. Anyway, Casper, he does that when he's really excited. Now, it has been a long time since he has last jig jogged. I think he was showing off to his new lady, being like, look at me. I always think it's like, you know, when you do like high knees in like a warm-up in like games at school or PE or whatever, it's kind of like that. It's actually really funny, because when we first got Casper, a lot of people thought he was a Lusitano horse, because he was doing his little jig jogging, and it almost looks like he's kind of trying to do some sort of weird version of Piaffe, or dressage moves. But anyway, so we were jig jogging down the road, and actually what's very, very cool is to get to this area of the bridle path, you do have to cross the main road. But do you know what that main road has? It has a horse crossing. So you know how in most towns or cities there's pedestrian crossings where you walk on up to the road, you press the button, you wait for the little green person to pop up, and then you can cross the road, and there's the like beep beep beep, and you can go across. Well, they have that for horses, and I thought that was so cool. So they have 2 buttons. They have like one that's at kind of like people height, and then they have one that's kind of at horse height. So if you're on like a little pony, you can reach the bottom one, or if you're on a big horse, you can reach the top one. There's also a mounting block on both sides of the road, so if you do need to get off for whatever reason, that's there, which is very useful. So obviously this is a very horsey area, so it's very nice that they've made it very horse friendly. So anyway, did the little horse crossing. I was not concerned, because obviously Casper's an older boy now. He's relatively chilled most of the time. But I did think to myself, I wonder what he's going to be like. He did luckily stop jig jogging by the time we got to the crossing. Not that it was very far, but I thought, I don't really want to be on a jig jogging horse coming up to a main road. But it's really good, because there's like a big fence in front of where the main road is. So if your horse does spook or whatever, you're not going to be going into incoming traffic. It's very, very safe. And also Casper had a friend there with him, which is nice, because I knew that he wasn't going to want to like run out into the road or run anywhere, because he wanted to be with his new girlfriend. So I always find like my horses, they're better, but also worse when they hack in company. Like, they're better in the sense they're less spooky because they have a friend with them and they feel safer. Especially horses are herd animals. They like to be in a big herd. They like to be with lots of other horses. But also I find sometimes they are worse because they are with another friend and they like to show off and they like to go very, very fast and try and beat them in a race, which we'll get onto in a little bit. But anyway, yeah, road, beep, 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 horse crossing, went off, crossed the road beautifully. Casper was a really good boy. Went for a little trot down this country lane, which was like the most picturesque country lane that you could imagine. It had houses with thatched straw roofs. It had little wobbly cottages. Oh my goodness, it was just picturesque and gorgeous. So we went for a little hack through there, and then there was a tiny bit on the road, and then we went up onto the hills. Now Casper, bless him, he is an older gentleman, but that does not hold him back. He is actually, at the moment, very fit. So we've been doing lots of hacking over the summer. And I think it's really important, especially when you have an older horse. I think if there's any way that you possibly can, as long as, they obviously don't have any health problems and your vet says that they're still able to be ridden. I think it's great to keep older horses in work. It really does keep them going longer and keep them fit and mentally stimulated. And Casper, although he's getting older, he is doing so well right now. And yeah, you would, especially the way he acted later on in the story, you would not think that he was almost approaching his 20s. So anyway, got to the hill. Now, my friend's horse Stella, she knew that she was coming up to the Canterfield. Do you know who else picked up on that? Casper. So luckily it's up on the hills. There's a big enough space where you can kind of go side by side. A lot of the time, especially when you're hacking on the road, you do have to go single file. So there were some bits where we were in the lead. There were some bits where Stella was in the lead, and we kind of swapped around. But this bit I was said to my friend, do you mind just for the first canter if we go in the lead, please? And she's like, yeah, that's fine, because her horse Stella, she's honestly an angel horse, so chilled. Because at first I was like, oh, my horses, especially as I was originally planning on taking Joey, I said to her, my horse Joey, he can be quite friendly. He likes to give other horses kisses. He likes to get really close to them. He likes to say hello. And she was like, yeah, Stella's chill. She's not marish at all. You can go right up behind her, does not care at all. So I was like, oh, this is lovely. Apparently Stella is also the horse that on her yard does all the nannying. So she goes out with all the kind of baby horses, or I say baby horses, 5 and 6 year olds when they first start hacking and things, and shows them the ropes of stuff, which is lovely, especially if you do have a young horse. I think it's always so good if you can go out with another experienced chilled horse. But anyway, she was like, yeah, that's fine, you can canter first. So we start cantering. Now Casper, he loves to race. I remember I did this sponsored ride. I think it was 10k, very small. Wouldn't even really be kind of classed as an endurance ride, but it was a 10 kilometer ride, and we did it. This was back in 2017. It was ages ago now, but we did it in 1 hour. So our average speed was 10 kilometers an hour, which, when you think about it, is actually quite fast for a horse. We were basically trotting the whole time and lots of cantering. But anyway, when we did that ride, every time Casper saw a horse ahead of him, what did he do? He wanted to overtake them. So anyway, I was getting flashbacks to the sponsored ride we did, because I was like, I know he's going to want to race. Casper likes to be in the lead. I mean, he even races my dad. As I said before, when he goes into Max Verstappen mode, like a Formula 1 driver, he likes to overtake my dad, sometimes get a little bit too close to him on his bike. So anyway, we were cantering ahead. Now, Casper, he picked up a gear. He went up into a gear that I forgot ever existed. He went so fast that I call it supersonic. I don't know if anybody else calls it this, but when you're cantering a horse and then they go into gallop. When I was younger, I used to be like, oh yeah, I've galloped before, and it was, looking back on it, it was probably a fast canter. When you gallop, you're galloping, because you can't even feel which leg is where. It just feels like supersonic. Anybody else used to play Mario Kart back in the day, it feels like you were on the bullet bike. It feels like you were on is it called the bullet bike? That thing that you unlock and it goes really, really fast. It's like a little bullet. Anyway, that's literally what it felt like. And Casper was going for it. He was giving it his all. And, this was a great place to do it, because we were in a safe environment. The ground up there is really good because it's up on the hill, so there's really good drainage. And, there was nobody about. So I was like, okay, perfect. I'm just going to sit here and hold on, because sometimes when you're, galloping like that, you just have to hold on and enjoy the ride, have a blast. So we were going for it, and for about, it wasn't even that long. I want to say 30 seconds. It was probably less than that. For 30 seconds, we were absolutely going for it in the lead. And then as the hill became steeper and steeper, Stella ended up catching up with us. And Stella, as I said before, is half thoroughbred, so she went into racehorse mode and overtook us. Casper, bless him, he was still absolutely giving it his all, but we were left in their dust. Unfortunately, she absolutely was going for it. So by the time we got to the hill, both horses were puffing, but they both had the biggest smiles on their face. And I was talking to my physio about this because she was saying, cause both my horses, they have their backs regularly checked by the physio, because I always think if you have a horse that's ridden, you want their back to be comfortable, because that is literally where you are sitting. And she was saying how it's really good, especially with older horses, to take them out, take them for a blast. It really does keep them young. It keeps them fit. And just any horse in general. Like, there's a lot of dressage horses out there that actually would really benefit just going for a gallop, going for a blast, like really opening up their stride, opening up their airways. It's, so good for their physical and their mental health as well. So anyway, they were just having so much fun. And the view at the top of the hills was incredible. Now, you might see if you watch my videos on YouTube that I take my horses to the hills quite regularly, but I've never been to this area of the hills before, and it was just absolutely stunning. And then I thought, oh, we're at the top now. And my friend said to me, well, we can either start heading back now, or if you think the horses have a bit more, gas left in the tank, we can go up a little bit further, and there's another field that we can go in where we can have another blast. And I looked at Casper, and his breathing actually, like, do horses pant? His heavy breathing was slowing down. And I was like, I reckon he's still got some energy left in him. And anyway, I was right, because as we were slowly walking up, this part of the hills was a little bit more rocky, so we were just walking this bit, especially as we wanted the horses to get their breath back as well. By the time we were halfway up this second hill kind of area, Casper started jig-jogging again. He was ready to go. He knew what was happening. Now, this whole ride, I would describe, because Casper was very, like, either on or off. He was one or the other. And I would describe that's kind of Casper to a T. He's either super chill, you're riding him on the buckle, loose reins, head down, chilled, or he is switched on spicy mode. Let's go, I'm ready, what are we doing, I want to go fast. So anyway, he was back jogging up this hill, and gave them a big walk as well until their breath was completely back. They were feeling good, and it was a perfect length, because we went down this another little dip on the hills, and then we got to canter/gallop back, and again we were off, we were in the lead, but this time we were overtaken by Stella a lot quicker. And bless him, Casper was still going right to the end. He had a smile on his face, but he couldn't quite keep up with his girlfriend, unfortunately. But they both, just had so much fun. And honestly, this is your sign. If you ever get the chance to, go for a ride with your friend. I know, especially if you're older like me and you're an adult and people have that work-life balance, it's like the saddest thing where you ask your friend, oh, when can we next meet up, and you both get your calendars out and you're like, oh, it's in like 2 months time, what is this? Not quite that much, although sometimes actually if we're meeting up and it's like all the girls in a big group, it normally is about every 2 months. But organise a ride with your friend, because we had so much fun. I guess it's because I'm so used to with the job that I do, and also I'm very, very fortunate to keep my horses at home, that I'm so used to, if I'm going out for a ride, it's with my dad, which, don't get me wrong, I love you, Dad. He helps me with the podcast. I love you, Davide. But sometimes it is just nice, to go out with the girls, have a nice girly chat, have a good ride, go out with your friends, and like your horses can make friends as well. I don't think Casper's very emotionally attached to my dad's electric bike, although when he does see it, he does get excited because he knows it's going out. But anyway, we just had so much fun on that ride, and just was an absolute blast. Before I talk to you about the game show that I was on, I thought we would do comment of the week now, as we've come to a nice little natural break. I actually thought we would do quite a lot of comments for comment of the week, because you guys have some really good ones. So anyway, the first one, actually, this is on last week's episode, which is called Chickens Causing Chaos. So the top comment actually is from Pony Queen, and Pony Queen says, comment of the week, guys, I need help. So I got a new horse and I have a few names. I will name whatever gets the most reactions for, and the names are Bob, Bert, or Billy. And then there's Samantha as well with a thumbs down that I have only just spotted. I don't know why she did little emojis, like comment this emoji for which name. Now, this has got so many reactions and so many comments. If I look on the reactions so far, it looks like Billy is in the lead, I think. But Bob is close behind. I would say Bob and Billy are definitely my favourite. I think I have a soft spot for the name Bob because at the riding school that I learnt to ride at, there was a horse called Bobby, and he was a cob, and he was a little piebald, and he was so sweet. So I do like, maybe secret mystery extra name, Bob or Bobby. I think Bobby is very cute. So, Pony Queen, let me know in this week's episode. I want to know, what have you named the horse? I would love to know. I feel like everyone's really invested now. This is the one thing that I love about the podcast, is this kind of lovely community we've all created together. So the next one is from, I am going to really mispronounce your name, but it is spelled Aine. I want to say Annie? Ian? Anyway, you know who you are. They say, petition to have Davide on the podcast, brackets, if he agrees. He's looking at me with a thumbs down right now. I don't know if I love Esme or her dad more. Excuse me, that is a rudeness. Davide, if you're reading this, just think about how much you would embarrass Esme on the podcast, brackets, sorry, Esme. He just said, oh yeah, maybe you are trying to win him over now. I also rode at a new yard stay, and I'm going to loan one of their ponies after Christmas. Love. And then I'm going to say Annie. Thank you very much, Annie. Oh my goodness, that's so exciting. I would keep me updated in the comments. Keep me updated about your new loan pony, because that is brilliant. So good luck with the new loan pony. Cannot wait for you. Okay, we've got another one, and this is from Lee Gaskin, but I've just read the bottom of it, is from Joy. I think they're using somebody else's account. So Lee and Joy, hope you're having a good one. My interesting horsey fact. So actually, in last week's podcast episode, I asked you guys, what's like a horsey fact, or what's a fact about something that you realised later on in life that you probably should have learnt earlier on. So this says, my interesting horsey fact is that horses can remember people and places for over 20 years. That is actually, wow, that's a really long time. I've just had a big clear out before Christmas with my mum, and I've organised my bookshelf. Nice. I love organising things. Oh, this should be, this is more for my book people, but I do have a good comment for this week. That's made me think. When you organise books, do you organise them in colour order, or do you organise them in alphabetical order? Because I feel like this is a real controversial topic. Now, I'm going to say what my take on this is, because in my bookshelf, I sometimes call it my reading room, which sounds very pretentious and very big, when actually it's a bedroom that's probably too small to even fit a single bed in. So basically it's my at-home office, but I like to call it my at-home library or reading room because it sounds fancier, even though I'm pretty sure it can be classed as a library if you have over 1,000 books, but I do not have that many books. So anyway, but what I have is my top shelf of my bookshelf. I have all of my books in rainbow order, but I like to keep the series together. So the top shelf, because it's kind of like one really long shelf with two shelves. So the top shelf is standalone single books, the loaners, and they're all in colour order. And then on the bottom shelf, I have my series, and they're in like series order, because you can't be putting like book 4 next to book 2. That is just wrong, even if it is the alphabetical order way. Although I know a lot of people do it alphabetical order, but they do it by author rather than by title of book. So let me know in the comments, this is a real controversial topic for the book community, but let me know what way it should be organised, because I feel like that's like the pineapple on pizza of bookish people. Sorry, I need to continue reading Joy's comment. After I've had a lesson, my pony Timmy always avoids the puddles when I lead him back to his stable. I find it really funny because he was a show pony in his prime, and it's like he wants to protect his precious toes. That's exactly what I was saying about Casper. Does the same thing. Hates getting his toes wet. I've listened while browsing inspo for my 2026 bullet journal on Pinterest. Very nice. As you guys know, I have a bullet journal. I was so organised. Last year when I ordered my 2025 bullet journal, I also ordered my 2026 one as well, because the place that I was buying them from had a discount. If you buy one, you get like the second one half price. So I was like, perfect. I'm going to be prepared and buy next year's one. And also, do you know what I've done? Yesterday, it's getting to that time of year, because I was going through my my like agenda / at home, not at home, in office diary, and I was going through and I was like, oh my gosh, there's barely any pages left. It's almost the end of 2025. This year's gone so quickly, because at the moment I am planning all of my videos for the rest of the year. I'm going to try my absolute best, do not hold me to this, but I'm going to try my absolute best to do 2 YouTube videos a week, because at the moment I post them every Friday at 5 p.m. UK time. But also I'm going to do an extra one, and we're going to do, if I can, my very best, we're going to do an extra podcast episode a week. Oh my goodness. Explosions, cannons. Should we add some, like, I don't know if we can add some sound effects of like, woo, like a cheer. That's going to be so cheesy. I'll leave that to Davide if he puts it in or not, if he thinks it's a good idea. Anyway, yes, I'm going to try my very best. I'm deciding if, for the extra one, I think I might do them on either Tuesdays or Wednesdays. I don't know if I'm going to do like a full length episode like I do for these ones, where I chat about my week, because, I would say I do have quite wild weeks, but not every, not enough that I can talk double about my week. So what I thought I could do for the extra episode is do like a Q&A, but like, for the extra episode, answer a question, just talk about it for a good like 20 minutes, or talk about like a certain topic, because I often find those podcast episodes do really well. So if there are any topics that you'd like me to talk about in the upcoming bonus episodes, please let me know, because I do have some ideas. The reason why I just thought of that is because when we were talking about organisation and my diary and my agenda, I love being organised, and I have some organisation top tips of how I fit everything in, because I would say my life is pretty busy. I am that person. I like to pack it in. Like, it's a good day if I've done like 12 different things. So anyway, let me know if you'd like anything like that. Because I have lots of different ideas. Obviously we can do horsey ones as well, but sometimes I find like the non-horsey ones you guys really enjoy. So let me know in the comments what you would like to hear from in the next couple of months rolling up to Christmas for those bonus episodes. So what I was saying was I ordered my new diary for 2026, because I'm going through all my videos, planning them all for the rest of the year, which is actually wild. I cannot believe it. It's almost Christmas. I mean, it's only November, but it's going to go quick. It's going to go so quickly. Okay, this next one, I feel like these last comments of the week haven't really... Actually, no, the last one did, but we're going to do another one. We're going to do another one, because I am that person that likes to give extra points, extra comments of the week. So this next comment of the week is from Evie, and Evie says, "Hi Esme, my horse fact isn't one that I didn't know, but it was actually my mum. She was quite new to horses, and once when she was grooming my pony's legs, she suddenly called out to me and said, 'Evie, come help. I can't get this clump of mud off Simba's leg.' I rushed into the stable and saw her trying to pick Simba's chestnuts off because she thought they were dirt. Fortunately, she knows what chestnuts are now, but this story always cracks me up. Also, Davide should be in the podcast more. He's iconic." And then she put a little love heart. So thank you, Evie. We've got 2 votes for Davide on the podcast now. Maybe we just need everyone to comment, "Davide, be on the podcast." Anyway, but that is so funny that she thought that the chestnut was a bit of dirt. Now, I actually have a story about Davide and chestnuts. So if you don't know what a chestnut is for horses, now there is obviously the chestnut colour, or coat colour. We're not talking about that. Horses, actually, they have these things on their legs called chestnuts, which are kind of like... just look up a photo, because it's difficult to explain. But basically, the way that they have evolved, that's kind of like one of their fingers / nails kind of thing that is just, is not useful anymore. So it's like a weird bit of like kind of collagen, I guess. But anyway, Mickey used to get or like their thumb. And Mickey used to get really long ones because a lot of the time they just like fall off naturally on their own. I do think Mickey had a bit of keratosis or kind of like mud fever, so he always had quite very sensitive skin. I think it was probably to do with that. But yes, my dad, he doesn't call them chestnuts. Do you know what he calls them? He calls them chuggernuts.
Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do? I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault, a new series streaming now only on Peacock.
In Walmart's Huluville, everyone readied their cart. The early Black Friday deals are about to start. Online and in the app, such great deals to explore. Everything you love from tech, toys, and more. The days to save and the ones to remember are the 14th to the 16th of November. The Who's are all ready, but are you? Walmart Black Friday deals await. Who knew?
I don't know where this name came from because I think he forgot that they were called chestnuts. And I was like, Dad, what are you doing one day? And he was like, oh, I'm just peeling off a chuggernut. And I was like, a chuggernut? What are you on about? So anyway, whenever I see them now, I just want to call them chuggernuts. And there's so many things in my family that like my dad or my mum have just randomly like called them wrong. And I just want to call them that because our family calls it that. And I'm like, no, I do quite educational videos. I can't be telling everyone that a horse's chestnut is called a chuggernut. So anyway, another thing that is fly masks. My mum used to call them fly heads. Like, oh, can you go and take the fly heads off or go and put the fly heads on? So anyway, that's one that also gets me sometimes. But I think chuggernut is way funnier. I don't know. It just sounds weird, doesn't it? So, yeah, my dad's his favourite thing, obviously he doesn't just like go and rip them off, but when the horses do get slightly longer chestnuts, he will just play with them. And like sometimes, you know, this sounds really gross. If you're not a horse person, you're going to be listening to this thinking we are absolute weirdos, but I tell you what, it is quite satisfying to peel them off. Anyway, I think that is definitely enough comments for comment of the week because I've started going on about chuggernuts and that just really isn't necessary. So anyway, the next thing we're going to talk about is how I was on a game show. Oh my goodness. So this is actually only yesterday on the day that I'm recording this. Now, in the UK, we have a TV show called The Traitors, which is very, very big. It's very big at the moment, actually, because they've just finished the celebrity version on, which had some huge British names on. And anyway, I was invited to be on the Instagram version of The Traitors. So obviously not as big as the big, you know, BBC production, but it was very cool doing it with Meta and Instagram and being with lots of other creators in the industry as well. So it was interesting because I'm going to actually, wait a sec, before I go into that, I need to explain what this show is, what this game is, because if you don't know what it's about, then you're going to be thinking, Esme, I have no clue what you're going on about. So it is kind of like a murder mystery game. So it's a little bit like, I guess Cluedo, if any of you guys have played Cluedo and it's trying to figure out who is... So normally there's like 2 or 3 traitors and they're the ones that are trying to take people out, sabotage the games, that kind of stuff. But they have to be really sneaky. They cannot be found out that they are a traitor. And then everybody else is a faithful. Now, the faithfuls are playing these games, trying to win money. And then also you do a vote after every round. And you have to vote out who you think the traitor is. Now, this is really interesting because it's quite a psychological game. And I thought this was so fascinating to do with other creators because there are some people that I know personally from going to influencer and creator events. So I know them quite well, like in person. And also there were people on my team that I've like seen online, seen their content. So I don't know if that was a a good thing or a bad thing, because obviously, like, I found it that there are some creators that I've met in real life and they're not the same people that they are online. So maybe they're the ones that would be good traitors because they're good at pretending they're not themselves or lying or, you know, that kind of thing. But anyway, so if you're a traitor, basically you have to be very good at lying. And for this game, so before, when we first entered, we all got like sat down and got chatting to everybody. So we had like some icebreakers, so we got to know everyone because not everybody knew everyone that was in the game. And then so we like sat down with some drinks and nibbles, that kind of thing, had a little chinwag, had a little chat, went through all the, at these things everyone does, the like normal tick off lists, you know, small talk questions like, oh, how long have you been making content? What do you make content about? How did you get into it? Like that kind of thing. But I tell you what, they're great questions to ask because these sort of people love talking about themselves. So I just ask people questions. It's great. Anyway, moving on. So we, after that, we got called into the round table, which when I tell you, even though obviously we weren't in the actual Traitor's Castle or that kind of thing, the budget behind this was incredible. It was phenomenal. It literally felt like we were there in person. It was so good. We didn't have Claudia Winkleman, unfortunately. If you don't know, she is the host of the Traitors, but they did do a video of her saying good luck to us and explaining the rules and that kind of thing, and we had a really cool guy who was, you know, hosting for us. So anyway, we sat in the room, we sat down, we all had a whiteboard, we had to write our name on the whiteboard, put it in front of us, because obviously some of us didn't know each other, so we could, like, because at the end, I guess it's a little bit like The Weakest Link, if anybody's seen that, you'll have to be like, who is the traitor, and write their name on the whiteboard. So you best believe, as someone who's dyslexic, I was looking around at everyone's names, really trying to take in how to spell them. Luckily, most people had, I was going to say normal names that I have heard of before and could spell, which was great. But so yeah, there was probably about, I want to say 10 or 10 of us, I want to say, were in in the group. So, and we had a real mix of personalities and people in this group as well. So my friend Grace, she was there. She was in our group. Now, before we went in, all the girls in the group I actually already knew. It's one of those things where you like know them, but you don't like know them. Like the girls, one of the girls was explaining this, Lucy, because the guy that was hosting it was like, so do you guys like know each other? Are you guys friends or like that kind of thing? And she was like, we're kind of like colleague friends. For example, like we go to a lot of events together, we chat, that kind of thing, but we don't know each other's like mum's names, or we don't know where each other live. Like it's that kind of like weird friendship where you don't really hang out outside of, you know, the meta events, but we get along really well and always, you know, have a big catch up. So it's that kind of weird friendship. Anyway, moving, you know, the sort of person where you wouldn't really tell them your deepest, darkest secrets, but you get along really well and have a good chat. Anyway, so I was having a look around at everyone. Now, at the beginning, when we had to say our names, we also had to say why we would be a good faithful. So most people, they like were a little bit thrown off by this question. I was about halfway through the group when I had to say my name, so I had a little bit of time to think. And I, you know me, I wanted to be quite clever about this. I wanted to, you know, be a little bit different, stand out of the crowd. So most people just went, oh, I would be better as the faithful because I just can't lie, like I'm rubbish at lying, that kind of thing. Everyone said the same thing, and I thought, I'm going to be different. I'm going to, you know, stand out a little bit. So what did I say? I said, I think I'll be a good faithful because I work with animals and I'm really good at reading body language. So I think I'll be able to sniff out who the traitor is by seeing how they talk and move. And everyone was like, whoa, okay, somebody's confident. Now with these sort of games and things, I do get a little bit over competitive. Just a little bit. Just I get a little bit too excited, you know. I really got into this game. Let's just say that. Especially as I have watched the TV show, and that is what I've been doing the last few weeks. So I was invested, especially as I just watched the celebrity version. So I was hyped. I was so excited. I was pumped. I was ready to go. So I cannot tell you about the challenges specifically because of non-disclosure agreements, but I can tell you little bits and bobs, little snippets for you all, a little taster. So what was very cool was we did our first challenge. It was really nice that they didn't do a murder on the first night, which was brilliant, because I feel like if you're kicked out straight away, it's a little bit sad. It's a little bit disappointing. So then we did the second challenge, and then there was, unfortunately, a murder. Someone had died. So they got kicked out. They had to leave. You all had to so that was very sad. And then it went on to the voting. Now, I had some suspicions, and all I'm going to say is I was right. Okay, I hate to be that person. I don't want to sound like I'm better than everyone else, but I was adamant, absolutely adamant, it was this guy called Nick. Because he is normally quite chatty, that kind of thing. He was very quiet. He was quite fidgety with his hands. But me, I thought, I'm a faithful. I'm going to be loud, because I feel like if you're a traitor, you're going to be a little bit shyer at the beginning. You're not going to speak up as much. Like, I was super confident because I was like, I've got nothing to hide here. I'm a faithful. I'm going to be chatty, that kind of thing. So we went around the round table and we talk about who we thought could maybe be a traitor, who's acting a little bit off, who's not being themselves. So yeah, first round, I got voted for twice. Excuse me, I got voted for twice. Are you kidding me? I don't know. I can't even remember why they did it. I think it's because they heard some shuffling coming from my corner. And I was like, guys, we can't do this on noise. We need to do it on, there could be any reason for, some movement. Like, I'm a fidgety gal. What can I say? So I don't know. Anyway, but luckily, so yeah, I was the second most voted person on the first round. Luckily not the most voted, so I didn't get kicked out. Somebody else did. But I was, unfortunately, after the next game, I was kicked out third round. I was the second person to get kicked out, which is kind of disappointing because I didn't get to play the rest of the game. But the game that we did, because obviously it's a smaller version of the Traitors, we didn't do the full however many 9 days or whatever it is that they're in this castle. We didn't have time for that. This was a smaller Instagram version, so I think it was the whole thing lasted about 2 hours, which was great. But so I was kind of kicked out 1 hour 30 into the game, so actually I was in the game for most of it, which was really nice. But the last half an hour, I don't want to give too many spoilers, but I was still involved in the game in certain ways and involved in certain challenges, kind of like a ghost. But what was really disappointing was when it was my time to get voted out, I think it was everyone bar 1 or 2 people voted for me. Also, can we just talk about some of the odd ways that people spell my name? It was like being at, that coffee shop where they always write your name wrong. It was like that. I was like, look, my name's right here. Surely if you're going to vote for me, at least, get my name right. Anyway, yeah, it's only 4 letters. It's not that difficult. I know my name isn't very common, but come on, guys. Seriously. If you're going to vote for me, at least spell it right. Some people put a little love heart next to my name as a sympathy thing. I was like, no, I'm not taking your love heart. You're still voting me out. Also, my friend Grace, she dobbed me in. She was like, oh, yeah, I think Esme was acting a little bit too confident, a little bit too suspicious. I was like, come on, guys. It's Nick. Can you not see? It is Nick. The thing that I was quite, eagle-eyed. On one of the games, we won some shields, but you have to pick who in the group you think deserves the shield. And he, even though he didn't really participate in the game much, he straight away was like, oh, I think this person and this person should get a shield. And I thought that was very quick to say that, especially as I thought that's kind of traitor behaviour. You want to give the shield to another traitor, because if you have a shield, you can't be murdered. So anyway, it's a very psychological game. We had a lot of fun. I got a little bit too into it. And then we got to watch, I guess, the rest of the game from the green room. And as soon as I walked in there and I saw that Nick was a traitor, I was like, no, I was right. They all got me wrong. And also before you leave, you have to say if you're a traitor or a faithful, if people correctly guessed you right or wrong. And when I said I was a faithful, everyone looked at me and was absolutely shocked. They were so sure that I was a traitor. Now, a lot of people would take that as a insult. The guy that came and collected me from the room was like, oh, I'm sorry you got voted out. And I was like, no, I'm taking this as a compliment, because often traitors are clever and crafty, and I would take that as a compliment. If you thought, I was clever enough to be a traitor, I'll take it. I'll take it. Obviously, if they thought I was a traitor, they obviously thought I wasn't a very good traitor, I guess, because they all voted for me and thought I wasn't very subtle. But anyway, we're not going to be talking about that. I had a great time. It was great fun. We got way too into it. And you know, my friend Grace that dobbed me in and was like, yeah, it's Esme. She was a traitor as well. What? Anyway, I did have my suspicions. I'm not going to lie, because she was quite competitive, very got into it, loves the show. But the thing that really shocked me is Nick, who was a traitor. Who did he vote out? His husband. He literally said, yeah, my husband's a traitor, even though he downright knew that he was a faithful. What is going on? So anyway, there was a lot of drama. It was brilliant. So I just want to say a huge thank you to Instagram, Meta and Threads for very kindly having me on their version of The Traitors, which was so much fun. Incredible. And obviously afterwards we had a big debrief. We were chatting like, oh, I thought you were being suspicious, you know, that kind of thing. We were all very, very, very much into it. But anyway, that is pretty much everything that happened last night when I went to The Traitors Live. Let me know in the comments if you have also watched The Traitors, if you're a big fan. I did a little poll on my Instagram, actually. I did some like things being like, do you think I am a traitor or do you think I am a faithful? Actually, we should look at the results now, because it has been up a little while. It's been up long enough where I think we could probably see a split. Last time I looked at it, it was pretty 50-50. Shall we see? Do you think I was a traitor or faithful? Oh, okay. 45% of you think I was a traitor and 55% of you thought I was faithful. Well, you are kind of correct. I was a faithful, so well done to everyone who voted faithful. Even though at the beginning, you on the little form when you first enter, you do have to write if you're happy to be a traitor, so they won't pick someone who really, really doesn't want to be. But I was like, what's the fun of that? Like, I feel like if you're a traitor, that's the most fun part, because you're going to be on edge the whole time, like keeping the secret. When actually I was the opposite. I was too chilled because I was like, I've got nothing to hide, guys. Anyway, on that note, I just want to say a huge thank you for listening to today's podcast episode. Just want to say a huge thank you to Red Post for sponsoring the podcast. Go and check them out. Go and get those sweet, sweet deals. They have lots of sweet, sweet deals. I don't know why I keep saying sweet, sweet deals. They have a lot of deals on, especially with the roll up to Christmas. So keep an eye also for Black Friday coming very, very, very soon. Also, be sure to go and download the Red Post app, where it is super easy to shop. And they also have, at some stages, exclusive deals on there as well, because you guys know me, I want you guys to get the best price and also the best discounts. But anyway, thank you for listening, and I will see you all next time. Bye.